Hi everyone, so for our project we decided to focus on gender norms during Super Bowl commercials. Throughout our presentation we will be discussing gender statistics, agentic versus communal roles, and stereotypes, as well as sharing one commercial with you.
First, let's take a look at some of the U.S. statistics that point to gender inequality, as these statistics help explain the gender norms that exist in our country. As of 2015, women on average were earning 83% of what the average male was earning. Compared to men, women mostly have jobs in education, health, and social services, and less in the professional, scientific, technical, and construction fields. Women are a part of over half of the population, yet only make up less than 20% of the seats in Congress. These statistics and others have engraved in society's heads that women are not as capable as men, which pushes them into a more communal role instead of an agentic role.
The traditional gender roles back up the stereotypes that society has today about men and women. The agentic role is the belief that men are expected to be assertive and have certain skills, whereas the communal role is the belief that women are taught to foster harmonious relationships. These roles dive into the traditional stereotypes and assumptions people have for men versus women throughout history and today. There are many stereotypes surrounding the roles of men and women. Society creates these stereotypes that men and women live with, which hurt women more than men, making men superior. Some examples of stereotypes are illustrated here. One commercial of many that tries to break the barriers of stereotypes but fails to do so is the 2017 Mr. Clean Super Bowl commercial. This commercial tries to eliminate stereotypes and gender roles by reversing them, but ends up applying these stereotypes in a different way, still showing this idea of a big, strong man doing the woman's job of housework.
Got what you want, got what you need. Think your dream must be your fantasy.
Is that right? Sarah? Clean enough?
This Super Bowl ad in particular enforces the communal role of the woman as the caretaker of the household, but when a man decides to go outside of his agentic role to do the cleaning, it suddenly makes him desirable for something they showcase as women doing all the time. Using Mr. Clean as a sex symbol and the wife kissing her husband at the end of the commercial gives off the idea that men deserve to be rewarded for doing household tasks that the wife is portrayed to do all the time. Using the line, "You gotta love a man who cleans," is Mr. Clean's attempt at breaking down the gender norm of women as the ones that clean, but the way they present the commercial only causes more problems for gender inequality.
So to sum up what we've talked about, as the Super Bowl is mostly a male-dominated audience, in general the commercials shown have typically portrayed men as being successful, surrounded by women, or enjoying stereotypical male-favored products like beer. Companies limit their target markets when stereotyping because they lose customers who may be interested in the product but are not exposed to it. An ad such as the Mr. Clean ad, where stereotypes are reversed, is likely played during the Super Bowl because of the game's large audience. The in-class example of how Toys R Us clearly distinguishes the boys and girls sections in its store is one example of how retail environments stereotype the interests of both genders starting at a young age. However, companies are trying to drift away from these gender roles. So in general, we think that consumers, especially women, would favor this change because it is a more accurate representation of their gender in today's society. It highlights their capability to take part in the professional sector and emerge successfully instead of feeling stuck in the communal role.
So to conclude our presentation, do you believe there's been a significant change in gender roles in ads today?